One morning, Philbert Frog was sitting on his favourite log, enjoying the nice weather. He listened to the pleasant sounds of bees humming in the flowers, birds singing in the branches of the trees, and a nearby tortoise shouting for help.
Help! I can't swim,
Yelled Tiffany Tortoise, who was floating in the pond.
Not to worry,
Philbert replied.
I will save you.
A minute or two later, the tortoise was safely back on dry land.
What were you doing in the water if you can't swim?
Asked the frog. Tiffany explained she had fallen asleep on the bank and accidentally tumbled into the pond.
Things like that always happen to me. I must be accident-prone.
Then she bid him farewell and wandered home to dry herself. Filbert suddenly had an idea.
What this place needs is a superhero,
He said. And so off he went to knock up a costume. Later that day, after a lot of hard work on a sewing machine, Philbert Frog was finally dressed up in his brand new Super Frog outfit.
Now all I need to do is find somebody in distress. Oh!
Presently, he came across his old chum Melvin Mouse, who was sitting reading a big book about cheese.
What do you want?
Philbert looked a little put out and explained that he wanted Melvin to have an accident so that he could rescue him. Melvin shook his head and said that he had just reached an exciting bit in his book and that Philbert would have to wait until he'd finished reading it. Melvin was a slow reader. Philbert decided not to wait any longer. He made his way through the trees until, a little while later, Philbert the superhero found his friends Willy Worm, Oscar Owl, and Herbert Hedgehog. They were playing an interesting game of Hunt the Thimble in the undergrowth.
Hello, pals.
Shouted Philbert.
I'm a superhero. I've come to rescue you.
Yeah, that's all very well, but we don't need rescuing.
Said Willy Worm.
Yes,
Agreed Herbert.
we're all quite safe and sound.
Well, far too busy at the moment.
Oscar explained.
Why don't you try again later?
Philbert shrugged and went on his way. This was no use at all. He couldn't just wait around for people to have accidents. So, being an adventurous frog, Philbert climbed a tall tree. There he sat, watching and waiting, waiting and watching, until after about 4 long and boring hours, he fell asleep. When he awoke, it was just after noon. Carefully, he peered over the edge of the branch. It was a long way down.
Oh, dear.
He moaned.
I think I'm, stuck.
And it was true. Poor Philbert Frog, superhero, was stuck up the tall tree. Not far away, Tiffany Tortoise was playing on a swing when she heard the cry for help. As quick as a flash, she shot off in the direction of the voice.
Help!
3 hours later, she reached the tree that Philbert was stuck up.
Don't worry,
She called,
I'll save you, Philbert.
for though she was a poor swimmer, Tiffany Tortoise just happened to be an excellent tree climber. She soon had the silly frog safely on the ground.
Oh, thank you so much, Tiffany. How can I ever thank you?
Tiffany smiled.
Well, perhaps you could give me some free swimming lessons.
An excellent idea.
Philbert said, and they both laughed before going off for a nice cool swim together.
Philbert the Frog. Philbert the Frog. Philbert. Philbert. Philbert the Frog. Philbert.
Philbert the Frog.
Dawn was breaking over Knocket Wood, and all of the animals were going about their daily business. The woodpeckers were busy making some nice holes in the trunks of trees. The spiders were spinning some pretty silk webs. and Philbert's friends were rather bored.
Let's go and see if Philbert wants to play,
said Bertie Bird.
What a good idea.
Smiled Tiffany Tortoise. A few moments later, they had arrived at Philbert's little home.
Hello, Philbert.
Willy Worm said.
Coming out to play then, or what?
The frog just stared blankly. Bertie Bird asked what was wrong.
Oh, I've had a terrible night. I just can't get to sleep lately. I'm so fed up.
Not to worry. What you need is something to make you tired. I shall take you for a long run through the woods.
Moments later, they were sprinting through the trees. However, Philbert was far too fast for the tortoise, and it wasn't long before Tiffany fell over exhausted. Next, it was Oscar the Owl who came up with a suggestion.
We should try hypnosis,
He said.
Come up to my tree and I will demonstrate.
Once they were safely on a branch, Oscar began. He produced an old pocket watch and swung it gently before Philbert's eyes.
You are feeling sleepy. Very sleepy. Your eyelids are getting heavy. You are falling asleep. Fast.
Oh, dear.
Later on, after Oscar had woken up, Willy Worm and Bertie Bird suggested singing a lullaby to help Philbert sleep.
La la la. La la.
It was the most awful sound in the whole world, and it wasn't very long before Philbert had a nasty headache.
It's no good. I'm never going to get any sleep. Whatever can I do?
How about counting sheep?
I've tried that.
Oh, what about reading a nice bedtime story?
I've done that too.
Have you tried fluffing your pillows? Asked Bertie. But it was no use. Philbert had already tried everything that his friends could think of.
This is getting very serious indeed. You want to go and see the doctor at once.
So, following his friend's advice, Philbert Frog hopped off across the fields to see the doctor.
Now then, Philbert,
The doctor began.
have you tried counting sheep? Yes. And what about reading a nice bedtime story? I've tried everything,
He said.
even hypnosis.
The doctor ummed and ahed.
Mhm.
He examined Philbert's tongue
Yes.
and checked his eyes.
Yes. I believe I know what you are suffering from.
Philbert looked rather worried.
You are simply not remembering to shut your eyes when you go to bed. Oh, yes! I'd forgotten about that.
And closing his lids, he fell fast asleep on the doctor's couch.
You must be the silliest frog in the world,
Said the doctor. And that night, Philbert Frog slept like a log.
Philbert the frog. Philbert the frog. Philbert. Philbert. Philbert the frog. Philbert. Philbert the frog.
Philbert was very excited. He had just received a present from his great aunt Edith Frog.
Woohoo! Fantastic!
Shouted Philbert,
It's a history encyclopedia.
and he began to read.
Their bones were uncovered by archaeologists who carefully put them together like giant jigsaw puzzles. That sounds like fun.
And with that, He went away to find a shovel. Half an hour later, Melvin Mouse was going for a stroll through Nugget Wood.
Oh! Who put that hole there? Who did it? Who did it?
Do you mind?
Asked a familiar voice.
You're standing on my foot.
It was Philbert.
What are you doing? What are you doing, eh? Digging holes?
Inquired Melvin.
I'm looking for dinosaur bones,
Said the frog.
and you're interrupting my work.
Melvin wasn't impressed.
Another of your harebrained schemes, no doubt. Yes, that's probably what it is, harebrained.
And then he climbed out of the hole.
One of these days, Philbert Frog, you're going to get yourself in trouble. I know it.
Then he limped off to finish his stroll. Philbert continued digging. Time passed by, and soon there were holes everywhere in Nugget Wood. Just then, Tiffany Tortoise, Willy Worm, and Herbert Hedgehog arrived to see what was going on. There was a loud cry,
Hooray!
and out of a hole popped Philbert Frog, with something strange in his hands.
I found a dinosaur!
He yelled.
A dinosaur?
Inquired Tiffany.
It's all in pieces.
Philbert explained.
I've got to put the bones back together.
Don't be so silly.
Said Willy.
There aren't any dinosaurs in Nugget Wood. Never seen a dinosaur. Never seen a dinosaur.
No, I've never seen one neither, said Herbert.
You've just found an old bone, that's all.
Chuckled Tiffany. And then they all went away, laughing to themselves, leaving Philbert to excavate the dinosaur all by himself. Presently, the archaeologist Frog had dug up a strange selection of bones, and before long, there was a large dinosaur skeleton standing in front of him. As Philbert put the last bone into place, Melvin Mouse returned from his stroll. He looked at the dinosaur and fell over in shock.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
He gasped.
A dinosaur in Nugget Wood.
Then, as fast as he could, Melvin ran off to tell everybody the news. It didn't take long for the word to spread, and soon people were coming from miles around to see the Philbertsaurus. They cheered Philbert for being such a clever frog. Melvin Mouse returned with Tiffany Tortoise, Willy Worm, and Herbert Hedgehog. They all congratulated Philbert.
I told you that I would find a brand new dinosaur.
You must make a speech about your discovery. That's what you've got to do.
Said Willy Worm. Philbert turned to the crowd before him. Just as he opened his mouth, he was interrupted by a sudden gush of water coming from one of the holes that he had dug. At that very moment, Monty Mole popped his head up from underground.
What's going on, Philbert, eh? What's going on?
I've just excavated a dinosaur.
The frog explained. Monty examined the skeleton carefully and shook his head before explaining that the bones were not part of a dinosaur at all, but sections of piping from the water mains.
And you must replace them all immediately.
Oh, no.
Philbert moaned, as all of the people went away in disgust. His friends suddenly burst out laughing.
You must be the silliest frog in the whole world.
They chortled,
Yeah, and the wettest.
added Monty. Then they all went home for and poor Philbert Frog was left to fill in all the holes that he had dug.
Philbert the Frog. Philbert the Frog. Philbert. Philbert. Philbert the Frog. Philbert. Philbert
the Frog.
It was a blustery day in Nugget Wood, and the autumn leaves were falling. They drifted downwards on the wind until they lay like a golden carpet on the woodland floor. Not far away, Philbert Frog was busy building himself a kite. He was just about to try it out when his old pal Melvin Mouse came crunching through the leaves.
Hello, Philbert.
He muttered glumly.
Hello.
Said the frog.
Look what I've made.
Melvin examined the kite.
A sailing boat?
He asked.
No, silly, it's a kite.
Philbert then threw it up into the air and watched it float gracefully into a tree. Melvin sighed as the crumpled kite fell to the floor.
Never mind.
He said.
Nothing's perfect.
Philbert agreed, but couldn't help noticing that Melvin wasn't his usual cheery self.
You don't look very happy, Melvin. What's the matter?
Melvin explained.
My cottage is full of holes. The autumn wind blows in through the gaps and makes it very chilly at night.
Oh, dear.
Said Philbert.
That can't be good.
It's most unpleasant. I have to wear a scarf and woolly hat in bed.
Then Melvin said goodbye and went home for lunch. Philbert felt sorry for his friend and decided to help. He would build Melvin a new house. Later that day, Philbert set about gathering all the materials that he would need to construct a new home for his pal. Wood, string, paper, glue, an old bucket, 3 rusty nails, and an empty tea chest.
Perfect.
He said to himself.
Melvin will soon be the coziest mouse in Nugget Wood.
Philbert stayed up all night, hammering, sawing, gluing, and painting, until the following morning the new house was complete. He was pleased with his work. It was the best house he had ever built. Philbert wheeled the building over to where his pal's rickety old cottage stood and knocked on the door. It didn't take long for Melvin to answer, and he was overjoyed when he saw what Philbert had made for him.
Just what I want,
He said cheerfully.
I will use it tonight.
Now you will never be cold.
Said Philbert, and he left Melvin to admire his present. Later on that evening, when the sun had set, Philbert went to see how the mouse was settling into his new home. However, when he arrived, he discovered that the house had gone. He noticed that there was a light coming from the window of Melvin's old cottage, and so he decided to knock on the door.
Hello, Philbert.
Said the mouse.
How nice to see you again. The present you gave me is fantastic.
Philbert looked puzzled.
But where is it?
He asked. Melvin showed the frog inside and pointed to a roaring fire.
I couldn't bear to leave my lovely little cottage,
Began the mouse.
but this is certainly the best firewood I've ever had, and it should last me all winter.
Philbert could not believe his eyes.
Oh, well,
He sighed.
nothing's perfect.
Just then, there was a knock at the door. It was Tiffany Tortoise and all the others,
It looks like my guests have arrived.
said Melvin.
Why don't you join us, Philbert, and have some toasted muffins on the fire?
Philbert Frog gave a big smile. If there was one thing he loved, it was toasted muffins.
This is certainly the strangest house-warming party I've ever been to.
Philbert the frog. Philbert the frog. Philbert. Philbert. Philbert the frog. Philbert.
Philbert the frog.
It was night time in Nugget Wood. Philbert Frog was sitting on a log and staring into his favorite pond. In the middle, he could see a strange reflection, rather like a bright ball. He scratched his head in puzzlement.
I wonder what it is.
He thought, as Oscar Owl, Herbert Hedgehog, and Tiffany Tortoise passed by.
Oh, hello, Philbert.
Said Oscar.
What are you doing?
I'm thinking.
Replied Philbert.
What's thinking?
Asked Herbert.
Oh, it's, something that you do in your head.
Informed Oscar, who was an expert in these matters.
I'm wondering what that strange reflection in the pond is.
Said the frog. Everybody looked at the water and then at Philbert.
Everyone knows what that is,
said Tiffany.
It's the moon.
Said Herbert.
And it is thousands of miles away in space.
Informed Oscar, pointing to the sky. Philbert shook his head.
How can it be?
He began,
Why, even I can see that it's only a stone's throw away.
and he gestured to the pond.
In fact, it's so close, I'll bet that I could go to the moon this very evening.
His friends just laughed and decided to leave him to it. Later that same night, Philbert Frog was preparing for his journey. He had found a long piece of wood and decided that he would lay it across the water so that he might reach the moon without getting wet. Carefully, he stepped out onto the plank. It was very wobbly and a bit like standing on a seesaw,
Whoa, whoa, oh dear!
and he fell into the water with a splash. Philbert was not one to give up easily, and before long he had a new plan. He would tie a length of rope to a nearby tree and swing out to the moon. With a cry of, he swung across the pond. Unfortunately, Philbert had given himself a little more slack than was necessary, and he plunged once again into the cold water. Nothing seemed to be working. Even the lily pads wouldn't hold his weight when he tried to use them as stepping stones. He sat on the bank of the pond, looking out at the elusive moon.
Oh, there must be some way of reaching it.
He thought. Then he noticed an overhanging branch that went right out over the middle.
That's the answer.
He said to himself, and he made his way to the tree. Climbing up to reach the branch was not as easy as he thought it would have been, but soon he was hanging over the pond,
Ooh, it's very high.
he thought, as he made his way hand over hand towards the middle. The branch, however, was not very strong, and the frog did not notice it bending with his weight. He was nearly there when the branch snapped, and poor old Philbert plunged into the water again. Nearby, all of his friends heard the splash. They stopped what they were doing and ran quickly over to see what had happened. There they saw Philbert, bobbing up and down in the middle of the pond, his head poking out through the reflection in the water.
Hooray! Hooray!
He cried.
Look at me, everybody. I'm in the moon.
Tiffany Tortoise, Herbert Hedgehog, and Oscar Owl shook their heads in disbelief.
See? I told you so.
Laughed Philbert. Then, a large cloud passed over Nugget Wood and covered up the moon. The reflection in the pond slowly disappeared. All of Philbert's friends burst out laughing,
Oh, what a silly frog.
and they were probably right.
Philbert the Frog. Philbert the Frog. Philbert. Philbert. Philbert the Frog. Philbert.
Philbert the Frog.
Philbert Frog was rummaging through an old chest when he came across a small tin. It was a colourful painting set, complete with brush.
Ooh, this looks useful.
He said to himself.
With these paints, I will become the best artist in the world.
And so he set off to find a worthy subject to paint. He wandered through Nugget Wood, stopping only once to colour a bluebell apricot yellow. It was not long before he met up with his pals, Tiffany Tortoise, Herbert Hedgehog, and Melvin Mouse.
Hello, gang.
Said the frog.
Hello, Froggy.
Said Herbert.
What sort of interesting things are you doing today, then?
I'm the world's greatest artist.
Pull the other one.
Said Melvin.
It's true.
Said Philbert.
Would you like to be painted?
Oh, yes, please.
Said Tiffany.
I've never been painted before.
So Philbert Frog painted his friends, all in pretty colours. But Tiffany Tortoise was not very happy with her bright green and red shell.
I think you're supposed to paint on paper,
she said gloomily. Melvin Mouse shook his head at the sight of his turquoise tummy.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
He muttered. Herbert Hedgehog was quite pleased with his blue feet, but he didn't think they matched his toenails.
Prune purple would have been much better,
he informed.
but I could get to like 'em. Oh, why don't you do something useful?
Asked Tiffany.
We all looked so much better with our original colours.
Yes. Now I'm going to have to wash my tummy, and you know how I don't like water.
Moaned Melvin. Philbert sighed, packed up his paints, and walked away. Later that day, he was sitting on an old log, wondering what to do, when the local doctor, who was enjoying an afternoon stroll, walked past. He could see that the frog looked confused and asked what the problem was. Philbert explained.
Oh, I can't think what to paint. Not to worry,
Said the doctor.
my surgery needs redecorating, and your paints would really brighten the place up.
So, whilst the doctor continued with his stroll, Philbert set to work on the outside of the surgery. He painted a mural depicting a woodland scene, with flowers, trees, and bushes. It was the best picture that he had ever painted. He was so pleased with his work that he went to find the doctor, so that he might see what a wonderful job he had done. When they both returned, they stopped, dead in their tracks. The surgery had vanished. Philbert's mural was so realistic that it blended in perfectly with the surrounding woodland. The doctor was not very pleased. All he'd asked for was a simple coat of paint.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. What have you done with my surgery?
He asked. Philbert shook his head.
Well, it was there a moment ago. Well, you'd better find it quickly. I'm expecting a patient later on.
Poor old Philbert Frog. He had to spend the rest of the day looking for the front door.
I'll stick to colouring books next time.
He sighed. And he did.
Philbert the Frog. Philbert the Frog. Philbert. Philbert. Philbert the Frog. Philbert the Frog.
It was the Nugget Wood annual sports day, and Philbert Frog was feeling very pleased with himself. He had already won the swimming race, the high jump, the long jump, the hop, skip and jump, the egg and spoon race, and the weightlifting. The next event on the list was the dancing contest.
Hello, pals.
He said cheerily.
Are you, looking forward to the next event?
Not very particularly,
Said Herbert.
I'm having trouble with my dance.
What sort of a dance is it?
Asked the frog.
I called it the Hedgehog Hurricane. It's a sort of a spinning and twirling and around dance, but I keep getting dizzy and falling over.
Philbert laughed. There was no doubt about it. He was sure to win with his famous dance, the Frog Hop. The music started, and everybody started to dance. Tiffany was performing a very beautiful piece from a famous ballet, but it didn't last too long when Melvin Mouse, who was doing his mouse mambo, lost his balance and accidentally knocked her off the dance floor. Even Willy Worm was having trouble with his worm wiggle when he forgot a vital step and carelessly tied himself into a knot. It was no use. Philbert Frog was the best dancer of them all. The judges were so impressed that they gave him first, second, and third prize. Later on, Philbert Frog met up with his friends again.
Hello, everybody. I'm the world's greatest frog at everything.
Tiffany Tortoise was not impressed.
You can't do everything.
She informed.
Everybody has something they can't do. Yes,
Said Herbert.
that's a fact. I can't fly.
And I, said Bertie Bird,
Can't play tennis.
Philbert shook his head.
There's only one more event, and that's the running race. When I win that, we'll see who's best in the world.
And off he went to limber up. It was not long before everybody was lined up at the starting post.
On your marks,
Said the announcer.
get set, go!
Philbert Frog tore off down the track, leaving all his friends far behind.
This is easy. Nobody can catch up with me. I'm the quickest frog in the world.
Faster and faster around the track he ran, faster than he had ever run before, until not far ahead he could see the finishing post.
This is going to be a record-breaking run.
Said the frog as he sped towards the line. But as he drew closer, he could see that his friends were already there. Somehow they had beaten him.
You cheats!
Cried Philbert.
You, took a shortcut or something.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
Said Melvin Mouse.
We ran it fair and square.
Said Herbert, who was very pleased because he had won himself second prize. Just then, Tiffany appeared from the crowd, holding a trophy. She had won first prize,
Look at my prize, Philbert.
she said.
Not bad for a tortoise, eh?
But how did you get here before me?
Asked Philbert.
You laugh when you hear this. You went around the track the wrong way.
Said Willy Worm.
It was a backwards running race. Oh, joy.
Everybody laughed.
Never mind, Philbert.
Said Tiffany.
You deserve a special prize.
What's that?
Said Philbert.
An award for being the world's silliest frog.
Philbert the Frog. Philbert the Frog. Philbert. Philbert. Philbert the Frog. Philbert. Philbert. Philbert the Frog.
All was quiet in Nogget Wood, and Philbert Frog was sitting on his favourite lily pad, enjoying the warm sun. He was just about to close his eyes when a huge, hairy foot passed by through the undergrowth.
Oh, a monster in Nugget Wood. Oh dear, I'd better warn the others.
As quick as he could, the frog set off to find his pals. He tore through the woods, and it wasn't long before he ran into Tiffany Tortoise, who was out on her new roller skates.
Ow!
After they had picked themselves up, Tiffany asked why Philbert was in such a hurry.
A monster.
Philbert cried, just as Herbert Hedgehog arrived with Willy Worm.
I am not a monster.
Herbert said.
He's a hedgehog, you silly frog.
Willy informed. Philbert shook his head and told his friends about the real monster that he had seen earlier on.
We must stop it before it destroys the wood.
It didn't take more than 3 or 4 hours to persuade them to help him find the beast. And so, later that day, they all set off on a monster hunting expedition. Philbert carved the way through the dense undergrowth, with his pals following not far behind.
It's the monster.
Said Philbert. Bravely, they advanced towards the sound. And then, with a heroic cry, they dived into the bush. There was a lot of noise and confusion before Philbert realized that they had accidentally caught Bertie Bird, who was looking for sticks so that he could build a new nest. Bertie did not look very happy, but Philbert apologized, and it wasn't long before he and his friends were back on the monster's trail. Cautiously, they crept through the undergrowth, not daring to make a sound in case the dreaded beast saw them and ate them up. They all hid behind a bush and carefully peeped through the leaves. There, banging his chest and growling fiercely, was a giant ape. It stamped on the ground, making all of the trees shake. It was a most horrifying sight.
Oh dear,
Philbert said.
we must stop it.
Stop it?
Asked Tiffany Tortoise.
But how?
I shall have to think about that.
Philbert replied. Half an hour later, he had finally come up with a plan.
Tiffany, I need to borrow your roller skates.
He announced.
What are you going to do?
Asked the tortoise, handing Philbert the skates.
Stand back.
Said the frog. Philbert rolled the skates through the grass and underneath the giant ape's feet. The monster stepped onto them and with a mighty roar fell backwards, landing on the ground and smashing into hundreds of pieces. Philbert's friends were astonished, and they were about to congratulate him when an angry film director came running up, waving his megaphone.
You've just ruined our shot, you silly frog.
He shouted. He was very cross.
We're making a film called Attack of the Giant Gorilla, and now you've destroyed the star. What, pray tell, are you going to do about it?
Philbert Frog turned to his friends and saw them running away through the trees. He was all alone.
Oh dear.
He gulped.
Well, that's the last time I go hunting.
Philbert later muttered to himself as he stomped over the model village in front of the movie cameras. Then he gave the film director his best roar.
Whoa!
Somehow, it just didn't have the same effect.
Philbert the Frog. Philbert the Frog. Philbert. Philbert. Philbert the Frog. Philbert the Frog.
Philbert was sitting on his favorite log, reading an exciting book called Interesting Amphibians. He had just turned to the chapter about exotic frogs and was most impressed by their many different shapes, sizes, and colors.
Oh, I wish I was more exotic.
Thought Philbert,
I'm bored with being ordinary.
and so he decided to copy some of the weird and wonderful amphibians from his book. His particular favorite was the African tree frog. So he immediately climbed a tall oak and sat on a sturdy branch near the top. After a couple of days, Philbert realized that African tree frogs were rather boring and decided to try something else.
The Tasmanian burrowing frog sounds more exciting.
Said Philbert, and he went to fetch his shovel. He dug and dug until his burrow was complete, and then he squeezed himself into it. Unfortunately, the hole was a little too small, and Philbert was stuck fast. Just then, Herbert Hedgehog and Melvin Mouse arrived to see what was going on.
Philbert, why have you planted yourself in the ground?
Asked Melvin.
Are you pretending to be a flower?
Inquired Herbert. Philbert explained his problem. It took his friends a whole hour to dig him out. Philbert decided to keep his next attempt firmly above ground.
The bright pink South American yodeling frog sounds much more exciting.
Said Philbert, and went off to find some paint. He had run out of bright pink and had to use a tin of Battleship Grey instead. Then he stood on a rock and began yodeling at the top of his voice. However, the afternoon sunshine caused the paint to dry and harden, and it wasn't long before Philbert could not move. Willy Worm and Tiffany Tortoise passed by and stopped to look.
Oh, what a funny statue,
said Tiffany.
It looks like that daft friend of ours, what's his name, Frog?
Said Willy. The statue blinked, and the pals suddenly realized that it was Philbert playing one of his silly games. Tiffany and Willy took the frog home and gave him a good scrubbing with a stiff brush. Slightly sore, but undaunted, Philbert Frog gave it one last try.
This time, I will become an Amazonian hovering frog,
he cried. Unfortunately, a stray gust of tropical wind caught him and carried him off to a South Sea island that was populated by thousands of exotic frogs. They had never seen an ordinary green frog before and were very impressed.
You're simply a super specimen,
said a flat whistling frog.
Quite exotic indeed,
agreed the small stripy elephant frog.
You must be tired after your journey. Why don't you stay for tea?
Philbert accepted their kind invitation, and the other frogs held a huge banquet, making Philbert their guest of honor because he was so unusual. When it was time to leave, Philbert said goodbye to the new friends he had made.
Being a common green pond frog isn't so bad after all,
thought Philbert, and he set off on the long journey home.
Philbert the Frog. Philbert the Frog. Philbert. Philbert. Philbert the Frog. Philbert. Philbert the Frog.
It was a sunny afternoon in Nugget Wood, and Philbert Frog was on his way to the pond to spend the day swimming.
Oh, I'll ask my pals to join me.
Tiffany Tortoise was busy building a seesaw when Philbert arrived.
Hello, Tiffany.
Said the frog.
Would you like to come swimming?
Tiffany shook her head.
Not today, Philbert. I'm going to play on my seesaw. It's much more exciting.
Philbert shrugged and set off to find somebody else. Presently, he met up with Willy Worm.
Hello, Willy. What are you doing?
I'm digging a hole to Mars,
said Willy.
Would you like to come swimming?
Asked Philbert.
I'm far too busy for boring old swimming. You'll have to wait until I get back.
How long will that be?
6 billion years?
Replied the worm. Philbert decided that he had no time to wait, so he bid Willy farewell and went away to find someone else instead. It was not easy. Everybody in Nugget Wood seemed to be preoccupied. Oscar Owl would not go swimming because he was busy counting to 1,000. Herbert Hedgehog was eating a large cream cake. And Melvin Mouse was playing with his cheese collection.
Perhaps Bertie Bird would like to come swimming.
Philbert sighed. But even Bertie was busy.
Sorry,
he said.
I'm flying south for the winter.
It isn't winter.
The frog explained.
Oh, I know. But it will be by the time I get there. I always get lost on the way.
Philbert shook his head and walked off. There was only one more friend that he could ask.
Surely Monty Mole won't be busy,
he thought.
Sorry, pal,
Monty said.
I've just spent all morning blow-drying my hair. I don't want to get it wet again.
There was nothing else for it. Poor old Philbert would have to swim alone. He was just about to test the water when Tiffany Tortoise arrived.
Hello again,
She said.
I've decided that I will come swimming after all. Playing on a seesaw is no fun on my own.
Philbert was about to tell her how pleased he was when Willy Worm appeared. He explained that his expedition to Mars had failed because he had struck granite on the way.
Mind if I join you swimming?
He asked. The frog told him that he was quite welcome. Just as Oscar Owl, Herbert Hedgehog and Melvin Mouse came along. Oscar had discovered that he could only count to 12. Herbert had finished his cake, and Melvin was fed up with cheese. They too asked if they could come swimming. Philbert allowed them to join him by the pond. Everybody seemed happy, and they were all about to dive in when Bertie Bird landed.
Oh dear,
Said Bertie, looking confused.
this doesn't look like Bermuda. I must have been flying round in circles.
Then Monty Mole popped his head up from underground.
Hello, everybody. What's occurring?
Each of the pals told Monty how their exciting plans for the day had ended in disaster.
Now we're going swimming with Philbert.
Said Herbert.
His ideas are never boring.
But Philbert wasn't listening. He was sitting on his log, snoring loudly. His friends' stories had been so boring that he'd fallen fast asleep.
Some people have got no sense of adventure.
Philbert the Frog. Philbert the Frog. Philbert. Philbert. Philbert the Frog. Philbert. Philbert the Frog.
It was early morning in Nugget Wood. All of the animals had just woken up, and Bertie Bird was sitting in a tree. He was about to sing his favourite morning song when his voice suddenly vanished. Down below, Monty Mole and Willy Worm were discussing digging.
What's the deepest hole you've ever dug?
4 million miles.
Fibbed Willy, before his voice disappeared. Monty was about to say that he did not believe him, but found that he had lost his voice too. On a nearby tree stump, Oscar Owl was reading to Melvin Mouse.
Once upon a time, there was a magic elephant, and she lived in an orange cottage in the jungle.
But that was as far as Oscar got, for his voice had also gone.
Oscar, why have you stopped?
Asked Melvin,
I want to know what happens next.
and Melvin's voice disappeared too. Not far away, Tiffany Tortoise and Herbert Hedgehog were playing a game of Ring a Roses, when they too lost their voices. They were naturally upset, and therefore went to seek help from Philbert Frog. Philbert was very concerned to read what had happened to his friends. He folded up the note that Tiffany had written and put on his deerstalker hat.
This sounds like a job for Philbert the Detective.
He said,
I will soon find out where your voices are.
and he set off through the wood with his magnifying glass. Presently, he came across some tracks that led to a small hole.
Aha! This looks like a good place for clues.
He said, looking inside to see if there was any sign of the missing voices. But he only succeeded in disturbing a rabbit who shouted at him for being nosy.
Oi, get out of it!
Next, Philbert the detective looked into a hollow tree.
Hello, hello, hello. What have we here?
There was a loud buzzing sound, and poor Philbert was chased by a swarm of angry bees who thought that he was after their honey. Quickly, Philbert ran away and dived into a pond for safety. he sat under the water, thinking what to do next. Suddenly, he was fished out by a large net and taken to a small cottage in the woods. It was the home of Naughty Nora, the naughty witch bat. She cackled.
I'm so naughty! I've stolen all of the voices in Nugget Wood and put them into jars! Now I shall have some peace and quiet!
Thinking that the frog was a fish, Naughty Nora put Philbert into her cauldron.
And you will make a tasty morsel for my little cat!
Philbert didn't much like the idea of being eaten. He had to escape. So he jumped as high as he could out of the cauldron and frightened Naughty Nora so much that she fainted in shock. High on a shelf, Philbert could see the jars of voices.
Oh, my pals will be pleased,
He said. Later that day, Philbert returned home with the voice jars and gave them back to his friends.
Oh, I don't know how to thank you, Philbert.
Melvin chirped.
We're very grateful.
Squeaked Oscar.
Thank you, Philbert.
Hooted Willy Worm.
You're the best detective in the world.
Said Tiffany, who sounded strangely like Herbert. Philbert shook his head in disbelief. He'd mixed the voices up, but they had lots of fun that afternoon, sorting out whose voice was whose.
Philbert the frog. Philbert the frog. Philbert. Philbert. Philbert the frog. Philbert.
Philbert the frog.
It was a wonderful summer's day in Nugget Wood. Bertie Bird was singing, Monty Mole was sunbathing, Melvin Mouse was learning a foreign language, and Philbert Frog had forgotten how to hop.
Oh, dear.
He moaned. He sat down to think about his problem.
I know.
He said,
I'll go to see my wise old friend, Oscar Owl.
so Philbert set off to find him. Oscar lived in a tall tree, and Philbert had to climb all the way up before he could speak to him. When he finally reached the top, he was exhausted.
Hello, Oscar.
He panted.
Can you help me?
What is your problem?
Asked the owl.
I've forgotten how to hop.
Explained the frog. Oscar slowly shook his head.
This is a serious problem indeed. I shall have to think about it for a while.
Philbert waited patiently, and it wasn't until 3 hours later, when the owl started to snore, that he realized Oscar was of no use whatsoever. On his way home, after bumping into numerous tree trunks, he met up with his friends, Tiffany Tortoise, Herbert Hedgehog, and Willy Worm. Philbert explained his awful predicament, but his friends weren't very sympathetic at first.
How can you forget to hop?
Asked Willy Worm.
You're a frog. How can you forget to hop? It's key to being a frog.
I forgot to put margarine on a sandwich once.
Said Herbert. Philbert shook his head in dismay.
Have you been to see Oscar?
Asked Tiffany. Philbert nodded.
He wasn't very helpful. Why don't you go and see the doctor, you foolish frog?
Suggested Willy.
Of course.
Said Philbert.
What a good idea.
And off he went. When he arrived, the doctor was just putting away some of his larger volumes of hop doctoring books on the top shelf of his bookcase.
Hello.
Said Philbert. Unfortunately, the doctor was not expecting anybody, and so Philbert's greeting took him completely by surprise. He lost his footing and dropped one of his books onto Philbert's toes. Cried Philbert, hopping about in pain.
Whatever is wrong?
Asked the doctor.
I've forgotten how to hop,
Said Philbert.
I beg to differ.
Began the doctor.
That is the finest display of hopping I have ever had the privilege to witness. Oh, you're right,
Said Philbert.
I'm cured. Oh, thank you, doctor.
He was just about to leave when the doctor stopped him and pointed to Philbert's foot.
However,
He said,
those toes look rather sore now, so I'm going to have to put something on them.
Later that day, Philbert met up with his friends again.
What did the doctor say?
Asked Tiffany. Philbert did not look happy. He simply pointed to a large bandage on his foot.
He told me to refrain from hopping for at least a week. A week?
Asked Willie.
That's the last time I ask for your advice,
Said Philbert, and he hobbled off home to rest.
Do you know, that frog gets sillier every week.
Philbert the Frog. Philbert the Frog. Philbert. Philbert. Philbert the Frog. Philbert.
Philbert the Frog.
It had been snowing in Nugget Wood, and Philbert Frog was most unhappy. Kevin, his naughty cousin, had come to stay.
Yeah, let's go sledging.
Yelled Kevin one morning. Philbert sighed, and being a friendly frog, agreed to take his cousin sledging. A little later, they had climbed the steepest hill in Nugget Wood.
Well, go on, you first.
Kevin said. Philbert sat on the sledge.
I've got a funny feeling that this isn't such a good idea,
He said. And it wasn't until Kevin had pushed him from the top of the steep hill that he realized why. The sledge sped downwards straight into a snowdrift. Later that day, after he had thawed, Philbert went to find his pals. He soon found them playing in the snow.
Hello, Philbert Frog.
Said Herbert Hedgehog.
We're building a snow rhino.
What's a snow rhino?
It's a rhinoceros built out of some snow. And we're using twigs for its antlers,
Informed Oscar Owl.
Rhinoceroses don't have antlers.
Said Philbert.
Reindeer have antlers.
Oh,
Said Herbert disappointedly.
I had my heart set on a rhinoceros.
Not to worry,
Said Philbert.
I will help you.
And so they set about building a snow rhino together. Not far away, Kevin was building something too. A giant snowball. With all his strength, he pushed the snowball down to where Philbert and his pals were playing. It rolled through the trees and squashed the snow rhino. Philbert, Oscar, and Herbert were not very pleased. That afternoon, Philbert decided to build a snow rhino on his own, as far away from Kevin as possible. He worked extremely hard, and it was not long before he had finished.
Fantastic.
He said to himself.
I must show it to the others.
So off he hopped to find Herbert and Oscar. Kevin giggled to himself. He'd been watching from behind a nearby tree. Quietly, he crept out and made a few alterations to Philbert's sculpture. Oscar and Herbert were playing steam trains when Philbert arrived. He was just about to tell them about his amazing snow rhino when the naughty cousin came running up.
Help! Help!
He cried.
There's a hideous snow beast in the woods.
Naturally, they were all very excited about this and went to investigate. However, they soon found out that they had been tricked when they saw that the snow beast was not real. Herbert and Oscar were fed up and decided to go home, leaving Philbert and Kevin behind. The naughty cousin laughed.
I tricked you, you're a silly frog.
Just then, the snow beast moved. Kevin stopped laughing. The monster moved again, frightening the cousin so much that he ran away, terrified. But there was nothing to fear. It was only Monty Mole, who popped his head out of the snow.
Oh dear,
He said,
I'm sorry, Philbert. I seem to have ruined your snow elephant.
Oh, don't worry.
laughed the frog.
It's the best thing that's happened to me all day.
And they both spent the rest of the day sledging on the lowest hill they could find.